this started when I was trying to, understand how I could show a memory of mine that refers to a period of time when I start to feel the gender and the pressure of this, and I was much more a kind of a tomboy at the time, and I was holding this duck like that, and it was easy for me. And now when I think of it, it's a big thing for a little girl to hold this kind of animal. And also I remember watching these ducks between hair and water, and I remember feel free doing that. And so I was thinking, oh, maybe I should choose this picture that I have and then try to use a technique that would show how, this memory of mine is also probably a memory of many, many girls over the ages. And that everything is embedded in also we are earthy creatures, and we are born with a sex, of course, like every other animal, like mammifer. And so I was thinking, how can I show this lineage of course the biology gave me an identity, but society pressures it. And I thought of this technique that I was started to use, which is using mycelium. So mycelium is the root systems of mushrooms, and they are one of the oldest form of life on Earth. And so I had a good, experimentation around sculptures, and I wanted to do like a two-dimensional thing using this photograph that is, pretty contemporary and nowadays, and create this layering feeling of, the passing of time from an ancient, very ancient moment, even before humanity really started to create, So mycelium was I think the right tool. And so, but I wanted the printing, and how do you print on mycelium? It's impossible, right? So I used my mycelium. So it's from a farm upstate, the substrate. And what I do, to be very technical, is that I mix it with flour and water, and I let it grow first for 4 days, and then I give it the form. So I put it in a mold, and what I did is that I printed the photograph on just the ink on a transparent sheet, put it on the mycelium in the mycelium mold, and see if the mycelium will suck the ink in. And it happened after 10 days. So the mycelium just retained the ink, and as you see, the mycelium is all this white thing you see. Like it's the substrate that ties everything together, to be honest, a bit like plaster, but it's living. It still lives, actually. It's dormant, but if I were to put it in a very, 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 wet environment with a lot of humidity, well, now it's framed, so it won't change at all. But if I were to, it could probably live again. And so it was a good surprise to see that the ink was, sucked by the mushroom. And so when I saw the result, and also in this technique, you have hemp, so all the little wood things that you see on the surface of the the artwork is hemp. That's how we make it. So the mycelium can have something to grow around. And yeah, when I saw it, it's exactly what I wanted to show. Like the feel, I didn't know it would look like this, but it's the feeling that it could be kind of a parchment from a very ancient time, or even something you can find in nature somehow, something that can be a bit rotten. But at the same time, sometimes you see very, very clearly the lines of the photographs. Maybe I should also share the photograph. I don't know if you want me to at some point. I'll send you some pictures. And yeah, so after that, it was more about, okay, now how do I show it? Because so when you have the artworks by itself, it's very light. It's strong, so it won't, fall apart or anything. So at first I was showing it like this, and then I was thinking I want to give it like as if it was kind of a prehistorical museum piece, that is like well framed and all that. So that's why I framed it at some point. And also because people were starting to touching. I know you want to touch it, but if you touch it too much, of course, it might, damage the piece. So yeah, so the dimension of the image was used to create. So I had in mind to create another piece from that, which would be a much bigger scale, and which I did for Yitai Grand Central in Hong Kong. And that in this piece, you would see first the photograph. It would be like silk panels, see the photographs and see it like expand as an abstract. So I use this in between, size to create a piece that was also abstract. I didn't want it to be perfectly like just the picture, and I wanted people to wonder what it was. Just basically, maybe it's too much wonder here, but I really wanted to finalize the piece as an abstract. That's so in my practice. That's what I do mostly. Mm-hmm. We use root systems to create fabrics on which I project videos that are live or made with human bodies around. And so I always use this process where it's not just me creating the outcome, but it's a collaboration with another living force. So in that case, it was mushroom, but it's like right now I experiment a lot with wheatgrass and the roots that intertwines and how to use this as a fabric. I used also bacteria at some point to create colors. So I love that idea. And it's the same with the duck, I felt really like I'm going to be helped by this kind of creature at some point, or that I need to go back to this collaboration feeling that I think is the essence of life, not just between human beings, but between, it's not me thinking that. And I know it's a Buddhist thing, and I know many people have put this in very good words. But yeah, we are interconnected with the earth and all the living beings on it. And to me, there is two things, like creating with another being is very super stimulating because you don't know the outcome. And there is also the idea that, this piece, when it will disintegrate, or if it disintegrates, it will be completely ecological. There is no, like process, that no chemicals. It's just, mushroom. Even the ink, I was, very keen on trying to find an ink that. So this for me is the basics, and then how do I create something that could be interesting for others? That's another question. But then you see that it's not completely neat, the corners of the piece, because like some of it were crumbling a little bit, because so at the edge you have less, even if you put lots of flour and water, you have less strength. So I let it crumble, so it would like just have the natural form, and also this parchment like kind of feeling. And I love also the concept of palimpsest. I work a lot around that on canvas mainly. So what I do is that I write stuff on canvas, and I write dreams, and I write stuff that are very contemporary, and then I put some mycelium on it, and I imprint some drawings of root system. And so I have this, layering feeling. Palimpsest are parchments that have been like written on it and rewritten on it, and have been like processed like that to be reused. So I quite enjoy that idea, and I think also because I have many ideas coming up, and I'm like, okay, I don't have a lot of space in my studio, so let's use what I have already. Maybe it can layer and so the girl with the duck has also this feeling, I think, of there is strong image on it, but the mycelium really took time to develop. So